Hey guys, it's Timmy, and this is Wrestling Unlimited, as we are here on the 8th of October, 2021, to talk about everything that went down tonight on Friday Night Smackdown and AEW Rampage. I enjoyed both shows. I thought both shows had a lot of good things. WWE has always had some questionable results on the show, but hey, we'll get into all that as we get into all of that, but I do got to get the poll up. Sorry for starting late. I had some internet issues where I had to reset my modem, and hopefully everything runs well during the stream and nothing buffers and nothing gets messed up. So if you see buffering, that's what it is. My internet was acting a little weird. But let's start the new poll. We're going to talk about Dynamite or Rampage first. So what did you think of tonight's Rampage? The P in Rampage. I need to add it. What did you think of tonight's Rampage? I liked it. It was all right. I didn't like it. Poll is live on Twitch. Put the same poll up on YouTube. I liked it. Whoops. I didn't like it. It was all right. Okie dokie. We got the polls going. They're live on Twitch. They're live on YouTube. And I got to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and Twitter.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Remember, if you are watching on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can help us out by hitting that donate button down below or donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can subscribe to the channel one of two different ways. You can subscribe with a tiered subscription or with Amazon Prime, because if you say, hey, I don't have any money to give to you, but I already pay for Amazon Prime, whether that's shipping or video, well, you take your Amazon account, you link it to your Twitch account, you do this little thing, ching, they're linked. Now you got a Prime Gaming account. With a Prime Gaming account, you get, well, sometimes free games. A lot of times, most of the time, free stuff for different games like Grand Theft Auto, Rogue Company, Valorant, and other games. I'm trying to think of the different games they give you free stuff for. But you always get one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month. And I'd greatly appreciate it if you subscribe to us right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. But even if that doesn't work for you, even if you say, no, I ain't got Amazon Prime either, well, you got to know somebody that does, whether it's your mother, your father, your daddy, your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your uncle, your auntie, your football coach, your kid's football coach, your dog walker, the guy that changed your spark plugs at the shop this morning, even though I change all my own spark plugs. I don't take my car in to get work on. And don't get me started on working on my car. But anyways, if you know somebody, or maybe know somebody that has Amazon Prime, just ask them, hey, you got Amazon Prime? They say yes, go, well, can I have it to link it to my Twitch account? It's not going to cost you anything. No, it's costing you. It's just linking in this and that, and then I can support Pro Wrestling Unlimited. But with that, if you're on the flip side watching on YouTube, you can help us out in the live chat, just like Jack Dawson did with a super sticker donation, or you can submit a super chat donation, and all super chats do get read live on the air, and they're greatly appreciated. Also, remember, be like Jack Dawson, who has done for 18 months now. He's a member of the Unlimited Army, and he is a channel member. As a channel member, you get early access to news, early access to podcasts, early access to non-news videos, and so much more, as we're trying to get a new podcast started here on the channel. Can't really talk about it too much yet, but stuff's in motion for a new cool podcast. But with that, also remember, the most direct way to support us is patreon.com/PW Unlimited. But let's jump right into it, and let's talk about AEW Rampage. AEW Rampage had 4 matches on the show tonight, and it kicked off with CM Punk versus Daniel Garcia. And interestingly enough, usually for this show, they do the Mark Henry interview thing for the main event. And they did, but they also did it for the opener. And they had Excalibur, Chris Jericho, and Taz on commentary. They sent it to Mark Henry, and they did the face-to-face thing. And at one point, CM Punk said, if I was you, I wouldn't be hanging out with, what do you call them? The Nasty Boys' little brothers. But with that, these two had a really good 14-minute match. I thought this was great. They really played up that, CM Punk's been winning his matches with the go to sleep, but he's a trained submission wrestler as well. And maybe he's got to use some of that submission-based offense because, well, Daniel Garcia is a submission wrestler also. Plus, if you guys see me look off this way, because, well, hold on. Maybe, I did have the GCW up. Oh, wait, hold on. Is that show over now? Give me 1 second, guys. GCW was supposed to be tonight. Mox versus... It was supposed to be Moxley versus Nick Gage. Hold on. I think I clicked the wrong button. Okay, never mind. I do have it up. The show just hasn't started. Wait. Oh, okay. I looked at the date wrong. That's why it didn't load for me. The GCW show is tomorrow with Nick Gage and John Moxley. I'm like, why hasn't the show loaded? Why ain't it loading? Because I'm a day early. That's why. Okay, I was confused. I looked at the date wrong. Back to this match that we haven't even talked about yet. But like I said, Daniel Garcia, he is a submission wrestler. CM Punk, known for using submissions like the Anaconda Vice, and they really played into that here in this match. And I do have to talk about this message in the chat. He says it's crucial. Dynamite will not be taped next week. It will be live on Saturday. The plan is, and I can show you guys right here from the AEW website schedule. Let's go. Hold on. Let's go here. Schedule 2021. Let's pull this up. Bada bing, bada boom. Here we go. Whoops. Clicking the wrong thing. Hold on, guys. All right. As you see here, Rampage on Friday, Dynamite Saturday. That means it's live. If it's got it listed double for the same location on their website, that means it is a live taping. And I also just lost the Twitch chat. Give me 1 second, guys. Let's pull up the Twitch chat again really fast. There we go. All right, we got the Twitch chat back. Yeah, I know. I clicked the wrong thing. I thought I brought it up to where I can do the transition, and it didn't transition right, and it clicked everything, and yeah, I don't know what happened. As far as the match does go, I was massively behind CM Punk, and Punk did some mat work early. Punk got a heel hook off of a single leg takedown, and Garcia had to force the break by grabbing the ropes. About 90 seconds into this match or whatever, they went to a commercial break. Back from the break, Garcia continued to work over Punk's leg. The crowd got behind CM Punk as he started to make a comeback. But when Punk went for a kick, Garcia cut off his comeback with another attack. Punk then went for a vertical suplex, but Garcia slid out and clipped the back of the knee of CM Punk. Garcia went for a charge and a drop kick into the corner, but Punk dropped out of the way. Garcia went to attack the leg again, but Punk caught him with a knee strike. Punk hit a bionic elbow, kind of like another dude we know of from Chicago. And then Punk hit a stiff kick for a near fall. Punk made a comeback, nailing Garcia with a leg lariat and a neck breaker for another two. Punk went for a short arm clothesline, but Garcia countered into an angle slam for a 2. Garcia went for the Scorpion Deathlock, and Punk battled out of it with a short arm clothesline. He went for the Pepsi Twist, got a near fall. The fight then spilled to the outside, and Punk came off the top rope with a crossbody to the floor on all three guys. Excuse me. Try not to burp into the microphone. Daniel Garcia and 2.0. Back in the ring, Punk hit a springboard clothesline, then a picture-perfect pile driver. Punk slapped on the Anaconda Vice. Punk pulled Daniel Garcia away from the ropes and picked up the victory, as Garcia had no other option but to tap out. Great match from CM Punk. Daniel Garcia, this is a guy, and I'm going to pull something up that Nick sent me on Twitter. This guy's got a lot of big-time matches coming, Daniel Garcia. So Nick sent me, let me see the message Nick sent me about Daniel Garcia. Because this was an interesting thing that I knew he had some big matches coming up, but boy, did he have some big matches coming up. So let's do this. Let's pull this up here. See if I can do this again without messing stuff up to show the screen. There we go. Transition. Boom. Look at this. Daniel Garcia tonight. CM Punk, Daniel Garcia tonight. Then, I don't have the dates for all of these, but he's got an Alex Shelley match coming up. And this one, I think this is actually tonight. Nick is at the show. Daniel Garcia versus Minoru Suzuki. That's actually October 8th, happening tonight. And Nick is there, so we're going to get a good little, hopefully he's got a good little, rapport from the show. I don't think that's the right word. But then coming up Sunday, October 10th, he will also be taking on Davey Richards. So he's taking on some good veterans. He's going to be somebody to watch here in a little while. Like, Daniel Garcia is really starting to grow a little resume of good matches. It was also funny during the match at one point, Jericho called him Danny Garcia, and I don't know this, but it seemed like the way it happened, someone got into his ear and said, "No, wrong name, it's Daniel," because he's like, "Oh, Danny Garcia," and then all of a sudden he goes, "Daniel Garcia." So I don't know if someone said, "Hey, that's not the right name" or what, but Yo Press says Daniel Garcia versus Jay White. I heard that, but is that a New Japan Strong? It's New Japan Strong, right? Yeah. So Jay White versus Daniel Garcia has been added to. I can pull it up right here. Jay White versus Daniel Garcia has been added to New Japan Strong Autumn Attack. No, Davey Richards is not retired. He's working in MLW. And Indies, of course. So going forward, Tony Schiavone interviewed Leo Rush. He was with Dante Martin and Matt Sydal. Sydal thought that Leo Rush was all talk and just filling Dante's head with false promises. Rush then said, okay. You're the only one here that hasn't proven yourself, so how about I get you in a match against the best in the world, a man named CM Punk, next week on Rampage. And you can prove yourself there. And then just immediately, Excalibur just goes, that match has been made. It is signed for next week on Rampage. Like, bro, give it time. Sometimes AEW does this where, there's a backstage segment, and before the segment's even over, they go, the match is made. Like, give it time to breathe. It's just sometimes they do things just a little too quickly. Like when WWE does something where they go, oh, I want to challenge so-and-so and so-and-so. Well, then they wait about 20 minutes and say, the match has been made by WWE officials. And I'm not trying to compare WWE to AEW, but this is just something that gets me sometimes with AEW. Where it's like, especially on Rampage, I'm like, yeah, I know Rampage is a taped show. I know everything's super planned out ahead of time. But let stuff breathe and make it actually seem like people put thought into stuff. Not, oh, our wrestlers are just coming up with shit and we're going to just give whatever they want. No. Actually make it seem like a challenge was made. The guy that was challenged actually knows that he's been challenged. And your booker, Mr. Tony Khan, has time to make it all actually right. And say, okay, you want him? He'll accept? Okay. Don't just be like, I'll get you a match with CM Punk next week. And like 10 seconds, 20 seconds later, just have Excalibur go, I've just been told that match has been made official. Like, fuck. Anyways, should be a pretty good match. I mean, we've seen it before. CM Punk versus Evan Bourne. Like, we've seen it before. We knew it's good. It's 2010, actually, a couple times in 2010, they've had matches. I think they wrestled just a regular Raw match, and then they had another Raw match that had to do with, like, the bragging rights pay-per-view, I think, if I'm correct. But anyways, Warm Hedgehog, I can't talk about anything that I don't know anything about, that nobody knows anything about. So we don't talk about Bray Wyatt, Wyndham Rotunda, because ain't nobody knows shit. So it's like, I've already told you this. Nobody knows anything. If I knew something, it'd be up on the channel. Next up, we had a fun match. It only went 5 minutes, though. It was for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. It was the Lucha Brothers defending against the Acclaimed. And the crowd did not like Max Caster when he basically called Rocky Balboa a fake champion. Where, you know, it's a movie, so how are you going to get mad about that? But the Acclaimed jumped to Lucha Bros as they were entering the ring. Caster sent Phoenix into the ring post head first before the bell even rang. The action got in the ring, and the Lucha Bros took control with a series of super kicks and double splashes. Owens caught Phoenix with a shot from the boombox as he went for a tope through the ropes to the outside. Referee didn't see it because Aubrey was dealing on the other side of the ring with Penta and Caster. The Acclaimed used some double team moves like a leg sweep on Penta to get a near fall. Penta got a Cazadora on Bowens and flew into a DDT on Caster. Then got the tag to Phoenix. Phoenix punished Bowens with a series of kicks. Caster ran in and got a heel hook, and Phoenix hit a stunner on Bowens for a 2. Caster came back with a super kick on Phoenix, and he sold some flippy stuff and landed on his head. Soon everybody hit everybody with super kicks and whatnot, and both teams were down selling on the mat. Match settled down. Phoenix and Bowens were in the ring, and Bowens hit the Uranagi side slam on Phoenix to set it for a mic drop from Caster. Penta pushed Caster off the top and hit a double foot stomp on Bowens' tailbone. Penta and Caster combined for... No, Penta and Phoenix. I don't know why I wrote it like that. Penta and Phoenix combined for a double team pile driver to pick up the victory. Fun, fast-paced match. I felt like it was short, and they tried to cram too much into the match because I know I probably missed some stuff. Because this was just boom, 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 all action. No breathing room for anything. So that was my one criticism is the match was short. It's 5 minutes and 15 seconds, and they just tried to cram a 10, 15 minute, maybe not 15, but like a 10, 12 minute match into 5 minutes because they were just boom, 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 boom. And I know I probably missed a couple things. To recap the ladder match from last Wednesday, where Hangman returned and earned himself a shot at the world title. We then had a 1 minute match. It was Jade Cargill against, well, Sky Blue. It was a pre-match video package of comments. I think it's the same one we saw on Dynamite of people saying, women saying why they wanted to be the TBS champion. Cargill says that she does not think Sky Blue. I know this is different. She said, I don't think Sky Blue deserves to be the champion. She's going to move Sky Blue out of her way to prove why she should be the TBS champ. Basically, fall away slam, pump kick, glam slam. That's it. Match win a minute. I can do it again. Fall away slam, pump kick, glam slam. Jade Cargill wins. Cargill then went to beat down Sky Blue and out would run a Thunder Rosa with a chair, and she sent Cargill packing. We then got a rundown of some stuff coming up over the next couple of episodes of AEW. All Elite Wrestling did announce a few different things. They announced that next week on Rampage Friday, CM Punk versus Matt Sydal, Ruby Soho versus The Bunny, and the Inner Circle versus the Men of the Year and Junior Dos Santos. Then on Saturday, remember, no Wednesday Rampage or Dynamite. Dynamite next week is Saturday. Not sure if I'm actually going to be able to do the review on Saturday for that show because I may have to be out of town for work. But on the next Dynamite on the 16th, Saturday the 16th, Dante Martin versus Malachi Black, Bryan Danielson versus Bobby Fish. The World Title Eliminator Tournament kicks off where a bunch of men compete. The finals are at Full Gear, and the winner ultimately gets a shot at the world title. Remember last year, this is where Kenny Omega defeated Hangman Page at Full Gear to win his shot at the world title and ultimately become the world champion. Also, that's why I think at Full Gear, it's going to be Kenny Omega defending against Hangman Page. Honestly, in my opinion, I think Hangman should beat Kenny at Full Gear for the title because it'll all be full circle where Kenny earned his title shot last year to become the champion by beating Hangman. So we'll see how it all goes. But that is everything that was announced for next week's slate of AEW shows. Going forward, we had our main event. It was an FTW Championship match. It was a Philly street fight. And we saw, well, Brian Cage take on Ricky Starks. Taz and Jericho were pretty funny on commentary during this match. I will say that. And Starks introduced a steel chair right at the beginning of the match, but never got to use it. Cage grabbed it and beat him down with it. The fight went to the floor and Cage dropped Starks on the ring apron with the back suplex. Back in the ring, Cage threw a bunch of plunder, as they called it, into the ring. Starks got a hold of a pool cue, hit Cage in the gut with it, and then did the whole, line up my shot right to the face. Starks then also hit a big, and I mean big, tornado DDT assisted off the ropes. Got a near fall as we went to our final break of the show, picture in picture. Back from the break, Cage pump handle suplex Starks onto a trash can for a near fall. Hook then ran in as Cage was like, send out Hook, send out Hobbs. And Jericho's like, send out Hobbs? He's like, send out Hook, send out Hobbs. We need help. And I'm like, okay. Hook and Hobbs come down to cause a little bit of a distraction. Hobbs ran in. Well, Hook ran in first and got tossed. Hobbs then ran in and was taken out as well. Starks hit Cage with the title belt and a spear for a near fall. Starks went for a second spear. Cage ducked, and Starks ran head first into a chair that had been wedged in the turnbuckle. Cage hit a discus lariat for another near fall, but Hobbs broke up the pin attempt. Cage hit Hobbs with the common Geary. Then Cage went for the superplex on Hobbs. Hook then ran back in and nailed Cage with a low blow. So the superplex never actually happened. I don't know where the blood came from, but I don't know where he got busted open. Ricky Starks hit the Rochambeau on Brian Cage to pick up the pinfall victory. Taz left commentary and celebrated with Team Taz as the show went off the air. Now, as far as what I thought of the show, I thought it was pretty good. Everything was solid, but I'm a little over the 1 minute Jade Cargill matches. I get it. You're building her up as this big star and whatnot, but it's like, oh, she's 17-0. Yeah, in 1 minute matches other than that triple threat. In 1 minute matches that nobody cares about. So, yeah, she's won a lot of matches, but we can't even tell if she's any good. I can tell that she's getting better, than where she started because she actually does a little more in each match. But that's not even saying much when her matches are 60 to 90 seconds long. But with that decent episode of Rampage, I enjoyed it. I didn't think there was really anything bad other than I'm kind of over the 1 minute Jade Cargill squash matches. But with that, now let's check the polls and see what you guys thought of tonight's AEW Rampage poll. View the results on Twitch. Twitch results are as followed. 75% of you liked the show, with 25% thinking it was just all right. As far as the YouTube poll does go, 55% of you liked tonight's Rampage. 16% didn't actually like it. And 29% thought it was just all right. As we transition to talking about Friday Night Smackdown, let's get that poll going really fast. New poll. What did you think of Smackdown? I liked it. It was all right. I didn't like it. So the same poll up on YouTube. What did you think of Smackdown? I liked it. It was all right. I didn't like it. All right, we got Friday Night Smackdown to talk about. A number of things took place on this show, like the kickoff to the King of the Ring and Queen's Crown tournament. Okay, and I was told Ricky Starks was busted open when he went headfirst into the chair. Gotcha. That's what I thought, but I couldn't tell, so I didn't want to say it and be wrong. But with that, actually, the first thing I want to bring up here, we got some brackets to talk about in the King of the Ring and the Queen's Crown tournament. So let me pull those up really fast. So as far as the Queen's Crown tournament does go, right side is the Raw matches, left side is SmackDown matches. So tonight we saw Toni Storm and Zelina Vega, Liv Morgan, and Carmella. We'll talk about the winners in a moment. On the Raw side of things, taking place next Monday, Doudrop will take on Natalya. Dana Brooke will take on Shayna Baszler. As far as the King of the Ring tournament, got that here. Tonight we saw Rey Mysterio take on Sami Zayn and Cesaro take on Finn Balor. Monday we will see Kofi Kingston take on Jinder Mahal and Xavier Woods take on Ricochet, with the possibility, interestingly enough, with the possibility of the New Day meeting in round 2, Kofi Kingston versus Xavier Woods. Wow. Honestly, I think that's the route they should go. But then think of the uproar when they have Kofi defeat Woods. And everyone goes, man, your boy denied you of becoming King of the Ring. I think the finals for this, probably Kofi Kingston versus Finn Balor. Maybe Woods versus Finn Balor, just to do the fan service of everybody wants to see Xavier in the finals. But as far as the women do go, those finals, Carmella, Shayna Baszler, maybe? But we'll talk more about that here in a moment once we get into it and SmackDown and what happened tonight. Hopefully Woods wins King of the Ring. Honestly, I could see him going with Finn, but Woods would be the right move. I really think so. From a fan service perspective, Woods would probably be the right move. With that, the show kicked off with a contract signing, and this was a atypical WWE contract signing. SmackDown started with Bianca Belair making her entrance. Then Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce were ready in the ring and introduced the other participants. They recap Bianca versus Sasha from last week and Belair versus Charlotte from Monday Night Raw. Belair entered the ring, but Banks stood on the announce table, and Becky had her own little table set up in the aisleway. And as soon as I saw all this going down, I'm like, man, this is dumb. Man, this is fucking stupid. Can't even get all three women to get into the ring. Like, stupid. Lynch mocked Belair for being on a losing streak and insulted Banks. Banks noted everyone's talking about her, but Belair made fun of her for returning so many times. Belair demanded that Lynch and Banks get in the ring, and the fans broke out in EST chant. Belair then threw her chair out of the ring, and Lynch knocked over her table. They all brawled, and yeah, they fought. Then somehow Belair put them both on her shoulders and gave him a double KOD. Sami Zayn's not banned from Saudi Arabia just because of his religion and nationality background. WWE feels like it would be better that he doesn't go. He's not actually banned, but just because Finn Balor's in the, or Sami Zayn, just because he's in the second round of the tournament doesn't mean he has to go to Saudi. Second round is next week. So that's why I didn't get all these random ass people on Twitter going, how could Sami Zayn get out of the first round if he can't go to Saudi? Because only the finals are in Saudi Arabia, not the second and third round. Only the third round. He can lose next week to freaking Finn Balor, which I expect. Like, damn, people need to think for a second. That's all. Way too many people on Twitter going, Sami Zayn out of the first round. That's not even possible. He can't go to Saudi. He doesn't need to go to Saudi. Anyways. In the back, Kayla Braxton interviewed Dominic and Rey Mysterio ahead of Rey's big King of the Ring match. Rey said winning King of the Ring is just important to him as being WWE or Universal Champion, and added that Zayn winning the tournament would be disgusting and disgust him. Dominic then said, I'll stay back here and watch your match from back here. He went to break after Rey made his entrance. Funny though. Because there was a spot in the match where Pat McAfee goes, you know, Rey wants to be King Rey. He wants to win this tournament and be King Rey. And the funny thing about that is that means he would be King. Because Rey in Spanish, translated to English, is king. So if Rey Mysterio is King of the Ring, which we know he's not going to be, if he's King of the Ring, then he would be King Rey, which in English is King. Kind of funny. Anyways, Dominic was approached by Sami Zayn before Sami made his entrance. He thinks Dominic is way better than Rey ever was and told him, just trust your instincts. This is when they then showed us the brackets and also let us know that Nakamura has given up his crown. He's not even in the fucking tournament, and he's just like, I'm not going to be the king anymore. No, don't call me King Nakamura anymore. Call me, pulls open his jacket, the Intercontinental Champion. I thought that was a funny line. Cool video, whatever. All that King Nakamura stuff for nothing. So going forward, these two had a 10-minute match. Zayn and Mysterio worked very hard to have a good match here. They had both the thrones and crowns up at the top of the stage as well to say, hey, we're doing these tournaments, and they're taking off tonight. Bell rang, and Zayn went for a haluva kick, but Mysterio avoided and rolled him up for a near fall, trying to end the match early. Mysterio was briefly in control until Zayn hit a powerbomb for a 2. Zayn rolled out of the ring, but Mysterio hit a flip over the top rope and caught Zayn with a Hurricane Rana. Mysterio regained control and paid tribute to Eddie Guerrero. Fans broke out and allowed Eddie chant. However, Zayn recovered and sent Mysterio shoulder first into the ring post. Dominic then made his way out to ringside, even though he said, I'm going to stay in the back. Well, he's learning from his poppy because that's what Rey always says. I'll stay in the back, and then shows up at ringside. Back from the break, Zayn went for another haluva kick, and Rey avoided it again. He followed this up with the code red for a close near fall. They fought on the top rope, and Zayn knocked him down. Mysterio recovered and hit a springboard Hurricane Rana for a near fall. At one point, Zayn pulled the top turnbuckle pad off and backed Mysterio into the opposite corner. Dominic then picked up the pad and tried putting it back on the turnbuckle. Mysterio hit a senton on Zayn to take control. Rey noticed Dominic and yelled at him, get off the apron. Zayn then pushed Mysterio into Dominic and rolled him up for the pinfall victory. So, With that, Sami Zayn advances to the second round of the tournament. Correct, Kushal. Pat McAfee did state on social media that he was not asked to go to Saudi Arabia, so he will not be on doing commentary for Crown Jewel. Sami Zayn moves out of the first round, and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Sami Zayn's been beating Dominic, now he beats Ray. It makes sense. We had a video hyping up the upcoming debut of Hit Row. Also, Zayn put on the King's cape and crown and celebrated like he had already won the tournament. But he got to face somebody else again next week. Michael Cole and Pat McAfee discussed the new Smackdown roster, which will actually kick off on October 22nd. And then recap the whole stuff with Edge and Seth Rollins and Seth going to Edge's house. And Kayla Braxton interviewed Rollins. She asked, "Did you cross the line by breaking into Edge's home last week?" Rollins admitted that, most people didn't believe what he did, but believe it because it was real. He claimed that he's been the bigger man, challenging Edge to a match to determine that he's the better man. Rollins noted, Braxton doesn't have any power, so why is he even standing here talking to her? He needs to make stuff happen, and he's going to make that happen tonight at the end of the show. He said, I'm going to get what I want, or nobody's going to be happy with me. Warm Hexhog says, why no Jeff Hardy on SmackDown tonight? Because technically, yes, we saw Mace, who has been drafted over to SmackDown, but technically, Jeff Hardy is not a member of the SmackDown roster till, as they stated, October 22nd, after Crown Jewel, is when the draft rosters do go into place. So going forward, they revealed the rest of the tournament and brackets and all that for the Queen's Crown tournament. And then we had a 2-minute match between Zelina Vega and Toni Storm. Match was like 2 minutes and 10 seconds. And it was just okay. They didn't get a lot of time. Cole and McAfee pushed that Storm is the wild child of the 80s because her mother always had her listen to 80s rock music. And I think Toni Storm had said before the match, if I win, I'll be the king of rock or the queen of rock or something like that. And I'm like, yeah, you ain't winning this. It'd be cool if you did, but you won't. I knew she was going to take the loss to Zelina, and that's what happened. Storm had the early advantage, but Zelina fought back with the Thez press. Vega followed this up with a knee and slowed down the pace. Storm fought back with forearms and climbed to the top rope, but Vega pushed her off. Well, pulled her off, actually. Storm went for the backslide, and Vega countered a backslide into a code red and picked up the victory. Vega advances into the semifinals of the Queen's Crown tournament. Hedgehog says, did Toni Storm get buried? I wouldn't call it getting buried. She just lost. Like, it baffles me how much people bitch and complain when the ones that they like lose. Now, I get it. She's lost a lot of matches on the main roster. Toni Storm, that is. But I wouldn't call it getting buried. The term getting buried gets thrown around way too willy-nilly nowadays. Whenever somebody you don't want to see, or whenever there's somebody a fan wants to see win, loses, they go, oh, they're being buried. Oh, they've been buried. Like, do you even know what getting buried means? Like, most people don't even know what the fucking phrase means. Getting buried. You get buried when you fuck up backstage and they really want to prove a point that, hey, we're going to beat your ass in a couple of matches because you messed up, you pissed off somebody with power, and there we go. Toni Storm hasn't done any of that. He hasn't pissed anybody off. They just don't see her as somebody that should be pushed, I guess. I don't know. But it is not getting buried, because getting buried is not just losing a bunch of matches. Getting buried is when they go out and they have you lose in ways that is humiliating. And you get your ass beat. And they tell somebody, hey, you're going to face so-and-so, and they're not in favor with management right now, so actually go out there and lace some shit in. That's what getting buried is. Not just losing a bunch of matches on the main roster. Because if that's the case, is Natalya getting buried? Because she's been on a hot losing streak. Next up, Roman Reigns came out, and he's got a message for Brock Lesnar. Reigns and Heyman were really, really good in this segment. Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman, and the Usos made their way out to the ring. And I'm going to say right now, you don't see this from many people. But as soon as Roman Reigns' music hits every single time, literally everybody in the building, to their feet, rises, stands up. Like they say, oh, so-and-so is really over with the crowd. Like who was, someone was trying to tell me recently, what was it? Oh man, I can't remember now. Oh, it's gonna come to me here way too late. I think it was, oh fuck. Oh, someone goes, Drew McIntyre, he's still really over with the crowd. And I go, is he? Yeah, he gets a good reaction when he comes out, but is he really that over? Look at Roman Reigns. Every single person in that building rose to their feet when his music hit. Not just when he came out, but when his music hit. When you get the, oh, before the, before any of that, like just the oh, everyone just rises to their feet. You don't see many people get that kind of reaction where everybody stands up to watch their entrance. I'm telling you, Roman Reigns is, no disrespect to the PWI 500, but Roman Reigns should have been number one. Roman Reigns should have been number one. No disrespect to PWI 500 or Kenny Omega, but Roman should have been number one. Anyways, they were in San Jose, and he says, San Jose, acknowledge me. Reigns demanded, and they did, mixed with a lot more cheers than boos. Reigns then pointed out that Paul Heyman's job was to make sure the Usos stay on SmackDown, and he did so. Therefore, acknowledge Paul Heyman. Fans erupted in boos for Paul Heyman. Reigns then told Heyman that he loves him, but wants him to tell the truth. Fans then broke out in a loud Suplex City chant where Roman laughed and said, this isn't Suplex City. There ain't no Suplex City. This is the island of relevancy. Reigns then demanded that Heyman admit that he's behind Lesnar being a free agent. Heyman was scared. And he said, my tribal chief, I'm in a tough position. No matter what I say, either way, there's going to be people that are not going to be happy with what I say. Heyman began by talking about his history with the Reigns family, Reigns' family, and he admitted that he's been guilty of a lot of bad things, but one thing is not being stupid. Heyman said pulling the trigger on a scheme like this on Reigns would be dumb to show all of his cards now. No, they would do it in a way to where Roman would not be seeing it coming at the pay-per-view. He noted that if you were going to pull off a scheme like this, it wouldn't leak to Reigns before. It would happen at Crown Jewel. Because remember, Survivor Series 2001, who saw it coming that Paul Heyman was going to turn on Brock Lesnar, cost him the WWE Championship, and align with the Big Show? Nobody. I thought this was perfect for Paul to go, remember when I turned on Brock back in 2001? I didn't show my cards before the Survivor Series show. No, I screwed him at the show. He should have said something along those lines, but then, he should have, because then Roman would have been like, well, maybe you're playing me a different way now. I don't know. I thought that would have been cool. I thought that would have been a cool thing to do, where they reference that or something where it's like, hey, I've screwed people before, and I didn't do it beforehand. I did it when I needed to. No one knew it was coming. Anyways, Heyman began to promise to Reigns that Lesnar will get beat at Crown Jewel. The Reigns would beat the Beast. Reigns took the mic and told him to look into the camera and say it to Lesnar. Fans broke out in a loud "We Want Lesnar" chant, which we're getting Lesnar next week. Heyman then told Lesnar that he met his match with Roman Reigns. He promised that Reigns would beat him and retain the title at Crown Jewel. He said this is not a prediction, but a spoiler. So in the back, Seth Rollins entered the locker room of Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville. Rollins wondered, where's Edge? Is Edge going to be here tonight? And they said, well, before you invaded his home, he was scheduled to be here this week, but we wouldn't put it against him if he stayed home. Rollins goes, you know what? I made that challenge, and I still haven't gotten a response. So I'm going to go out there at the end of the show, and I'm going to get what I want. He then goes, and if you see Edge before me, give him this back. And it was a picture he must have took from the home of Edge and Beth. With that, we had the second match in the Queen's Crown tournament that went a minute and a half, 90 seconds. Pre-match shit went longer than the match itself. So it's Carmella versus Liv Morgan, and they get in the ring, and then Carmella goes, wait, women, ladies, pulls up the hair, puts the mask on, and she gets into the ring. So they're fighting and this and that, and Liv Morgan goes for a kick, but falls right into Carmella's submission. She grabs at the mask, and Carmella's got to release the hold. Carmella then avoided an oblivion and hung Morgan on the top rope. She then hit a super kick and picked up the victory. So Carmella advances, and next week it will be Zelina Vega versus Carmella, which will be an interesting matchup. I don't expect it to go more than 2 minutes, and Carmella picks up the victory if I'm making a prediction. In the back, Kayla Braxton interviewed Mace. She said, in 2 weeks, you will be an official member of the Smackdown roster, but you were drafted without your tag team partner, T-Bar. What are your thoughts on now having to compete in the singles division? And Mace said that he isn't coming to SmackDown to compete, because when you come to compete, that means you actually have competitors that are worthy of being competitors. I'm here for annihilation. I go, okay, so you're just going to still be Mace. Fuck, that's dumb. I was hoping that splitting them up, they would become themselves again. Brendan, whatever his last name was, can't remember now. And fucking, I thought T-Bar, I was like, hopefully splitting them up, T-Bar can be Dominic Dijakovic again. Other video hyping up tomorrow night's Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder fight. And then we got Happy Corbin that didn't even go as scheduled. The segment was not good. Corbin and Madcap Moss made their way out to the ring to host Happy Talk. They told us the guests are supposed to be the Street Profits. Moss told a bad joke, and he asked what instrument is found in the ballroom. The answer? A tube of toothpaste. Yeah, no. All of a sudden out would come Kevin Owens. Owens ran down into the ring, got a little bit of offense in, and then got his ass beat. So yeah, that was it. In the back, Naomi would barge into the office of Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce. Naomi says she was furious that she's not in the Queen's Crown tournament, and then looks at Adam Pearce. This is just being dumb on Naomi's part, and goes, Adam, how about you trade me over to Raw so I can get into this tournament? And my first thought was, hey, dummy, the 2 matches for Raw are already set. So either you're not paying attention to how this shit works, you're not watching the show tonight, or you're just dumb. Because even if Adam Pearce would draft or trade you over to Monday Night Raw, you still couldn't get in the tournament. What are you going to do? Take out Natty and take on Doudrop? Like, that was just idiotic. They made Naomi look stupid there. Then Sonya goes, hold on, Adam. That is not going to happen. Because you will have a match next week. And Naomi goes, good. Against who? She thinks about it. And Sonya Deville goes, me. So next week, it will be Naomi against a returning or in-ring return of Sonya Deville. Haven't seen Sonya Deville wrestle since before SummerSlam last year. As far as next week's show does go, a number of things have been announced. The show, remember guys, the show itself, if you live in America, will be on FS1 because the ALCS starts next week. The baseball playoffs. We got game 1 taking place next week on Fox. So we will not be getting SmackDown on Fox, unfortunately, which is fine. They will be on FS1. So if you need to watch, just go watch on FS1. But they're calling it a, supersized edition of SmackDown. In the chat, someone says, what is the ALCS? It is called, ALCS is basically like the last round of playoffs before you go to the World Series for it's the final divisional playoffs for baseball. You know how in like football you have the National League and the American League, and then the winners go to the what's it called? The Super Bowl. Well, same thing here in baseball. Anyways, announced for next week's show, Brock Lesnar will be on the show. Sasha Banks will be going one-on-one with Becky Lynch. Zelina Vega will take on Carmella. And Finn Balor will take on Sami Zayn, which I just kind of spoiled what we're about to talk about. But Balor versus Sami Zayn, and Naomi goes one-on-one with Sonya Deville. But let's talk about that match. Finn Balor won, beat Cesaro in 9 minutes and 45 seconds. Cesaro gained the early advantage with the tilt-a-whirl backbreaker for a near fall. Pat McAfee said these two have been giving each other tilt-a-whirl backbreakers for years. He then, Cesaro that is, whipped Balor into the corner for another near fall. Cesaro backed Balor into the corner and rocked him with some uppercuts. Balor fought back and hit a double foot stomp. He then set up for a dive, but Cesaro jumped back into the ring and hit a pop-up uppercut for a near fall. Back from the break, Balor regained control and stomped down Cesaro. Cesaro fought back with a series of uppercuts, but Balor bounced out of the corner and hit a sling blade for his own doing. Balor then ended up on the apron and rocked Cesaro with a kick to the head. He climbed to the top rope, but Cesaro cut him off with a vicious uppercut. Cesaro then followed this up with the superplex and got a 2 off of it. Balor at one point followed up an attack with a shotgun dropkick into the corner, hit the coup de grace, and picked up the victory. So, as I already stated, Finn Balor is victorious. I mean, it's obvious Finn's going to beat Sami Zayn next week and then go on to the Crown Jewel pay-per-view to the finals. In the back, Becky Lynch is just yelling at Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce. This ain't fair. I got to defend my title against these two women, and they haven't done anything to deserve it, and this and that, and da-da-da-da-da. And they're like, well, Becky, if you think you're that good, if you think you're that much better than them, well, go to the pay-per-view, go to Crown Jewel, and fucking prove it. And she's like, you know what? Fine. She signs the thing. Also, speaking of Becky and Bianca, why ain't anybody mad that Becky keeps calling Bianca Esther? Like, why is nobody taking offense to that? Just saying. We get the final segment of the night. This is a good closing show segment with a hell of a cliffhanger because we don't know where this big match is going to take place. Scott, if it's buffering for you, you're the only one because I got both the Twitch and the YouTube stream going. Hasn't buffered for me at all. And trust me, I've got 2 streams going and the feed from my computer. If anyone's going to buffer, it's going to be me because I'm using a lot of bandwidth. So it's got to be an issue on your end if you're getting buffering, Scott. So Rollins wasted no time coming down to the ring and demanding that Edge come out here and accept his challenge if Edge is really here. Fans broke out in an Edge chant. Rollins wondered, what has happened to this man in Edge? And then remember that Edge may have been ended in Madison Square Garden with that curb stomp. Rollins said that Edge remaining silent is his way of admitting that Rollins is the better man, not Edge light. And they go, well, Edge really wasn't silent because he showed up last week. Rollins then noted that Edge is not only disappointing him, but disappointing the fans and his family. Suddenly, a black Cadillac arrives, or Escalade, and Edge comes out. And Pat McAfee just yells, oh, Edge is here in an Escalade. Rollins jumps out of the ring, grabs a steel chair. Edge makes a beeline down for the ring from the garage and gives Seth Rollins a spear for his trouble. Edge tackled Rollins over the announce table and threw him around a little bit before he broke a piece off the chair to go for that crossface. Rollins caught Edge with an elbow to the back of his neck and escaped the ring. Edge would grab a mic and make the challenge. He said, Seth, I want you in hell in a cell. Rollins' face went from, I got you, to, whoa. Hell in a Cell didn't go good for me last time. Hell in a Cell did not go good for Seth last time. That's the look Edge had on his face, like, or Seth, like, oh, Hell in a Cell? Uh-oh, that hasn't been a good match for me. Fans broke out in a loud yes chant, and we'll see what's going to happen. They did not say where this match is taking place, at least not that I have seen so far. Let's go to the WWE Twitter account and see if maybe they've announced it. I don't know if this is going to be a crown jewel match or not. Yep. Okay. Here we go. Breaking news. WWE has officially announced Edge will take on Seth Rollins inside Hell in a Cell at Crown Jewel. Oh boy. Oh boy. Saudi Arabia is getting a damn Hell in a Cell match. But with that, guys, that was Friday Night Smackdown. I want to say thank you guys for joining me here. But let's first check what you guys thought of Smackdown. As far as the Twitch poll does go, 75% of you thought the show was just all right. And 25% of you liked tonight's Smackdown. As far as the YouTube poll does go, 71% of you liked tonight's show, 21% thought it was just all right, and 8% did not like tonight's Smackdown. As we move over to the text messages, remember you can text into 510-906-1341. It says, do you see Sasha Banks winning the SmackDown Women's title match at Crown Jewel since Bianca Belair and Becky are being drafted to Raw? No. I see Becky winning the match at Crown Jewel. Bianca could. I think Becky wins because, well, Charlotte is moving over to SmackDown. She's already got a belt, so you put her on SmackDown as a champ. You put Becky or Bianca as Raw as a champ and just swap the belts. So no, I do not think Sasha wins this match because they don't need to get the SmackDown belt back over to SmackDown. This is in my honest opinion. I think AEW is misusing Brian Cage, and I think he should leave the company to go to WWE. Well, he's been in WWE before, and they did jack nothing with him. Like, he didn't even get out of Deep South Developmental. Kay Ballard, yes, I do think Kevin Harvick will be advancing to the round of 8. Or says, do you think Liv Morgan should leave WWE and go to AEW? I don't know, because I don't even know if they have interest for Liv Morgan. Honestly, I can't say. And who knows? I mean, AEW's already got so many wrestlers that now saying, so-and-so should leave WWE for AEW, and so because now that the roster's getting so big, you're just going to get mad when she doesn't get pushed well enough. People are already mad about how Ruby's being used. Like, fuck, she's been there for a month. And you're already mad that they're not using her properly. Trust me, I'm already getting the messages of, why is AEW not using Ruby well? Why is Ruby not getting big wins? And then, like, fuck. No, I don't know, and I don't think she should. This person says, do you see the Young Bucks challenging for the AEW Tag Team Championships? And also, do you see Xavier Woods be WWE's champion, knowing Big E and Kofi? Oh, I've already done so. I mean, probably not, to be honest. I don't see Woods winning that title. If so, not anytime soon. And as far as the Young Bucks, I mean, eventually they'll challenge for the tag titles again. Are you asking for Full Gear? Probably not. It says, I want to win I am going to read this one. I want to win Bailey. No. Can't write a proper sentence. I'm not going to read it because it's going to hurt me as a dyslexic. Like it's going to take me way too long to try and process. I'll try to read it. I want to win Bailey return if you think she back baby. No, I can't even. I know what you're trying to say. First off, we don't know when Bailey's going to return because she's going to be out for at least 9 months from the time of injury, if not longer. It says, who's going to win the tournament? It's obvious who's going to win already. That being, no, it's not obvious that it's Xavier Woods. It's not obvious that it's Xavier Woods. It says, that being Woods, but who do you want to win? I wouldn't mind Finn Balor. That would be cool. It's not obvious it's Woods. If it was AEW, it would be obvious that it's Woods, but this is WWE. They don't just do what the fans want. They do whatever Vince fucking wants. And if Vince really likes Finn, which I know he does, I could see Finn beating Woods in the finals and just having an uproar of the crowd and the fans. Trust me, if this is what I think it's going to be, Woods makes it to the finals and then gets beat by Finn Balor. I can see a lot of people pushing for Woods and maybe convincing Vince. But if I know how Vince McMahon's mind works and what we've seen in the past, he would rather do the bullshit thing and beat Woods in the finals. Or says, do you think Paul turns on Roman at Crown Jewel? No. Do you see Dominic Mysterio turning heel and getting Zelina Vega to be his... No. Do you think Xavier Woods becomes King of the Ring? I'd like to see it, but probably not. And that is it for the text messages. So with that, guys, I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and Twitter.com/Pro Wrestling PW Unlimited. Remember, you can follow us also on Facebook, Facebook.com/PW Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Nope. Facebook.com/Pro Wrestling ULTD, and search for Pro Wrestling Unlimited on Instagram. So with that, guys, have a great rest of your night, and I will see you next time. Have a good one.